Okay.
What up? What up? This is Mike, the philosopher, along with Black Mellow and the newcomer Sean B representing. Okay, and we got a new topic here today, y'all. This is about, and this is serious. This is about Candace Owens. Now I know y'all care so much about Candace Owens. She has so many enlightening things to say, especially about our community. Okay, now,
Hmm.
as you know, she is a conservative, and she was on the Tucker Carlson show, and she said that African Americans are the most
Hmm.
murderous group in the nation. Okay, you, I know you're kind of chomping at the bit here. Let me say this. She said, one thing I always say, Tucker, is that the left can pull a racist narrative from thin air where it doesn't exist. When it actually is in their face, they try to avoid it at all costs, she said. So I know you're chomping at the bit, Shine. So I'm going to let you go into that, man. First of all, what are your thoughts about Candace?
So Candace Owens is a person who is of color. I don't know her background too familiarly, whether she comes from a struggle or what have you, but to say that we are the most murderous group in America, uh,
Well,
when,
well,
where, how?
let me give you the
And
whole let
so
me give you the whole
let me
quote here. Hold on, let me give you the whole quote. It says, "Of course, we all know
run it.
the truth. Black men are the most
Hmm.
murderous group in America, and their victims are mostly other black people. It has nothing to do with white
Okay.
supremacy, but the media and politicians lie so that we never fix the real issue. BLM guarantees
It,
more black death. BLM guarantees more black death." Okay, go ahead, Sean.
so here's the thing. Here's the problem with statistics. If you read them as just numbers with no sort of background history or actually living, coming from where we really come from, it will be believable. I mean, if you look at the stats, quote unquote, that are reported or are not reported, let's talk about it. One could come to a conclusion like, oh, why are they killing themselves? Uh, who put these guns here? Who put this dope here? Like, we can't just blame a child for acting childish. You see what I'm saying? America has done a good job of trying to keep us as mental and spiritual adolescents.
Mm,
You need a third party in America to talk for you in the court of law. Like, nigga, I'm a grown man. But so for another black woman to say that we are the most murderous, we have to look at history. We have to look at history. Just before we started the show, we were speaking on uh, being bankrupt, America being bankrupt. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about when it happened. Right after the Great Depression. Let's talk about when the Great Depression happened. Right after they destroyed Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921. Where that was the Wall Street. The Wall Street that they had wasn't thriving like ours. That's why they sent the police and firefighters, which was the first gang in America. Let's talk about gangs and who's murderous. They sent the first gangs of America to destroy black neighborhoods that
right.
were thriving, that were not killing each other. So where are those stats? Where we talk about how every time we prevailed, they came to destroy. And it's all the way up until 1985. And
Mm,
now we look at Netflix with shows like When They See Us, that speaks on five young black males getting wrongfully incarcerated and the tribulations that they went through while they were in there. I doubt she was ever locked up, but I guarantee if she went through something that they went through, she would definitely have a different perspective.
yeah,
She
because she.
definitely wouldn't be like, they're the most murderous, like with no merit. Like, are you following the statistics of I mean, there was an article wrote, I can't even think of her name, so I feel bad for referencing it, but she kind of was basically sarcastic about it, like, oh, white America is out to get you, black man, when you guys do 51% of the crime in America.
Yeah,
but we're not talking about.
We're not talking about
the insurance bonds that are cut when a police officer kills a black man. Hold up, rewind. The insurance bonds that are cut when a police officer
That's right.
kills a white man. Dig that. See, it's not about color no more. It's about green. It's about green. And so when we talk about systematic racism, there are things that can be done. But a person who only sees the narrative of statistics will only see numbers. You will never really feel and see what people really go through. Right. I ain't never murdered nobody, so who really murders? But I can name about 3 cops who killed somebody, and guess what? They don't look like me.
Yeah, I could say that there is a group that is there's a group out there that is way more murderous than black people.
She said BLM guarantees more black lives being dead. Okay, so let's talk about it. What the heck is BLM?
Well,
what the heck is BLM? Okay.
Yeah, it says Black Lives Matter. That's what it's saying. So to say that BLM will guarantee more deaths, that is ridiculous, unless you are part of the conservative party that wants to eliminate black lives and you don't agree that Black Lives Matter. Then you might you might think that it's going to be more murders, but it ain't going to be because we don't love ourselves. Okay, that's what the whole slogan is about. Black Lives Matter. So
and it was created
but
from
that's a buzzword,
killing.
Right? But that's a buzzword she's throwing in there so that people can be discouraged from joining BLM because it is seen as a political not a party, but it seems to be a situation where people are caring for black people, and that and in her party and the things that she stands for, she don't like that, and people who are like her don't like that. They don't like it when attention is put on black people, and especially for them to prosper and live. They don't like that. They want to get rid of that narrative. They want to get rid of that narrative, and they want to discourage anybody from joining it. That's why she brought up BLM. It really had nothing to do with anything. It was just a buzzword to get her constituents riled up, because that's something, for whatever reason, that's a buzzword that get a certain group of people riled up. What you got, Black? What do you think of her, first of all?
Well, there's a whole lot to unpack. I mean, the bonds that Sean brought up, hard body right there.
Yeah.
Because that's something people don't know. People don't know there's bonds being cut at the expense of the lives of black men and women. They don't understand
not just black men, all people.
Money is being exchanged. But see,
America pays for violence.
Yeah. But listen, check this out. It don't even have to be violent, because the pen is sharper, more deadly than the sword. Every time you make a signature on something, it's a bond being made, meaning it can be put and translated into a actual bond that can be utilized on the stock market down the end. It can be fundable down the end, because your signature is priceless because of what happened during the House Joint Resolution 192, right? So your signature alone creates bonds. Every time you sign an insurance policy, you're creating a bond that's being traded on the stock market, and they're making residuals, and they're making money and interest that you're not going to benefit from. You're not the beneficial interest in anything that your signature is being attached to. They are, and they know that. So it's a certain way to sign things to where you capitalize off your own signature, because we are the original creditors. So I'm just want to deal with that one.
So you're dealing with it from a financial situation, yeah.
It's always financial. All of this is financial.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So listen. So to add to the, to move on to the Candace Owens situation, like Candace Owens is who Stacey Dash wanted to be. She's the black face. She's the Caucasian dipped in chocolate, right? That's speaking to the ills of her own community at the expense of her own community for the benefit of the rapist, the murderous other side that wants to point the finger and wants to say things negative about us, but they know politically it will be political suicide to do it because of their complexion. So what do? They hire what Willie Lynch calls a bitch, right? Willie Lynch said in no uncertain terms, what you do is you hire a black bed wench and you promote her. You give her some authority, give her some power, and I'm paraphrasing. You give her some power and she will be the most loyal in the whole community, even above the black man, because he's gonna rebel. But she will, once you break her, you break that black male, strong male figure in her eyes, she will lose confidence in that black male. And she will start to turn that confidence towards you. So if you utilize her right, she will go the hardest for you. But if she gets too high and mighty, beat her within an inch of her, and this is what he said, beat her within an inch of her life, and then let her recuperate, and she'll never do it again. Right. And she will be the one that beats your horn the loudest. So this is what we're seeing. What we're seeing with Harvey Weinstein,
like psychologically when it comes breaking you, huh?
Harvey Weinstein, when it comes to the scandal that's going on now in Hollywood with all the people, right? With Oprah being connected to it, but she go after Russell Simmons, she go after all these brothers, but she don't go after the dude she was in a photo with, Harvey Weinstein, who was doing the same criminal acts, if not worse, but didn't people word against him because of his complexion. You know what I'm saying? Now, Stacey Dash tried this Republican conservative political run as far as she could, but then she got threw out the window. She had some slip ups, got threw out the window. Now don't nobody rock with her. Now she's semi-homeless, blah, blah, blah. Her husband left her, all this, right? And simultaneously, Candace Owens started rising in the rankings because she was able to say the things they want to say, but they know it's political suicide for them to say. So they use her, their favorite bed wench. Some of the things that she does say make sense. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, we do need to start killing. We do need to stop killing each other. That's number one. We do. Yeah, but that's family business.
Okay.
Right?
Well,
let me finish. I'm gonna finish with this. It's different if we kill each other. That's like if we having a fight within our own house. That's our business. But if somebody else kick our door into our house and start beating on us, now we both are supposed to lock up and whoop this dude to sleep. Period. It's war. It's different. See what I'm saying?
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate. I mean Candace Owens. Let me play Candace Owens. Same thing. Anyway, Sean B, you know darn well that your kind, you black men, y'all go and y'all kill each other at high rates. How can you tell me I'm wrong? How can you tell me I'm wrong with calling your kind murderous?
So if we look at the time right now, currently, one could say that, and I'm not even going to say black men, because there's been so much trickery done. I mean, are we even counting the white guys who put on the black face mask and then did a robbery?
What I'm wearing right now is a dermal synthetics Derek mask, and it fits great, as you can see. I don't have any makeup on under my eyes right now, but I am wearing my contacts and have a nice shiny bald head. The other things that are really new are these. And this is a smaller version of the normal gloves from CFX, and they are able to skin match the color of the mask to the gloves.
Talk about.
I mean, and I know that's a small percentage.
Yeah.
I know that's.
Talk about that.
Yeah,
I know that's a small percentage, but my thing is, it's like, yo,
we don't know if it's a small percentage.
That's even more so true.
We don't
but
even know.
Again, let's really talk about what's going on in the real world. Like she mentioned a big thing: Black Lives Matter. How can you sit up there and say, unless you never came from it, you don't got no daddy, you ain't got no brothers, right? How can you say that a group with a name that was created out of police brutality? Now, oh man, I get tongue-tied trying to explain this part. Listen, I feel as though Black Lives Matter was hijacked. I can't say specifically by who, but I can say that during peaceful protests, somehow, some way, it turned into a riot. We can neglect the camera footage of police officers, again, America's first gang, committing acts to turn this peaceful protest into a riot. We can neglect the random pallets that are set here and the tires and the basic setup. That's what America has been doing to us black people as a whole. And if she don't realize that she's a part of the setup, aka what Black just said, dig it. Dig it.
Yeah.
You out here committing suicide amongst your people because your people looking at you crazy, but you doing it for the favor of what? Because you think some higher people are gonna vote for you, or because they can swing the votes like they did with this last president. Come on now. Or what bro calling his cousin down in Florida and make that happen for me. Is that what you going for? You know what I mean? You want to be able to make them calls, but at the end of the day, you're not doing no service really to nobody. Because we already know. I hate to put it like that, but it's always been a hatred towards us. Period. In America, black people have always been hated in America.
But I do like
hold
on, let me say this, Sean. I do like what Black said about the and he made a good point with the whole we take care of our house and that's family business. But when it comes to others coming in and kicking down the door, then we're not going to allow that. Just like it's funny how a lot of people say all these things about us. Now let me ask y'all this, okay? If that were so, and there is a little bit of truth to it that we do take out each other more than we should. That is a fact. What would y'all consider the cause of that? Is it poverty? Is it ignorance? Is it what is it because we are genetically designed to be aggressive, or we have toxic masculinity?
Let's start with what we come from. It ain't no we are not genetically predispositioned to be violent. That is a BS narrative. We are, if you look at history and if you've ever met a black person out the hood, it seems to me like we predestined to be loving people. I can't tell you how many white folks I've met who've been like, bro, I love kicking it with black folks because y'all just be showing love in a different kind of way. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, my family, it's cool, but it's not like, you know what I'm saying? So let me just go back. We're not violent people.
Well,
but if you look at one key word, which was a science experiment done in the 40s, right? World War II, I believe. Hitler, right? The ghetto, Dum, 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 dum. Let's talk about it. What is the ghetto? It is a science experiment. If you put the same group of people, or even a different type, especially with a different type of group of people, in close quarters with little to survive off of, they will eventually start to attack one another.
That is correct.
We cannot neglect these facts. They've done this with mice.
As a matter of fact, it has already happened. The Irish and the Italians, they were the so-called criminals before black people were. But what happened is the powers that be, I'll say, promoted them and gave them what's called white status. Okay, and what they did is they took over the fire departments, they took over the police departments, they took over a lot of these other jurisdictions and things like that. And what happened is they kept their aggression towards us so that they don't end up on the bottom anymore, because they were now getting paid. So now we are, black males especially are the designated, bottom by society. So we live more in poverty than anybody. I've seen a video where there was a black couple, okay, lived in a great neighborhood and everything, lived among other, Caucasians and things like that. And what they discovered is their house was about to be sold for $500,000 less than everybody else's. Once they got one of their white friends to stage their house and show their house around, they made $500,000.
They got an appraisal.
It was right before COVID hit, so the rates were extremely low. So we were trying to refinance to take advantage of the low rates.
And to their surprise, the appraiser wrote in her report that the house was only worth $995,000.
We were sick to our stomach. We was upset. We was angered.
I was disappointed because, one, I knew that the house was worth more than that. And secondly, because we needed the house to appraise for a certain amount in order for us to be able to pull out the capital in it. And when it didn't come in at that, it was devastating.
They suspected that the seeming lowball valuation from an appraiser who happened to be a white woman may have had something to do with their race or their location or both. Marin City has a sizable African-American population, unlike Marin County, which is mostly white.
She considered us living in Marin City and devalued our home based off of that.
Yeah, and saw blackface.
So they decided to put their suspicions to a test. They requested yet another appraisal and got a female friend who was white to come to the house to meet the appraiser to make it look like this was her house.
I contacted her and I said, we have our appraisal came in low. We have another appraiser coming. Can you come and be me?
But that's not all they did. They also removed any evidence that black people even lived there, a process that's been called whitewashing.
Took down everything that resembled that this home belonged to us.
Yeah, or to an African-American family.
Yeah, art, pictures.
Even, I would say, even my hair products, I put them away so that someone would be tipped off by them.
A different appraiser, also a white woman according to the Austins, who visited the house in February of 2020, came back with a valuation of more than $1,482,500, an appraisal 49% higher than the previous one. In dollars, that's a $487,500 difference between two appraisals that came about 3 weeks apart. In federal court, the Austins have sued the appraiser, Jeanette Miller, who gave them the lower estimate, alleging housing discrimination. Miller did not respond to several requests to either make a statement, grant an interview, or put us in contact with her lawyer. Devaluation of the property values and rights of African Americans and Hispanics is a deeply rooted American tradition that's starting to attract more attention in Washington. And it's not always about million-dollar homes. Andre Perry, senior fellow at the Brookings Institution, writes about it.
We found that homes in black neighborhoods are underpriced by 23%, about $48,000 cumulatively. There's about $156 billion in lost equity in black neighborhoods, $156 billion.
Okay, so let's not pretend like we are trying to be locked out of wealth and locked out of opportunities in this country. And when you have a group of people who are being disenfranchised, they're going to act out in ways that that are that way, especially if you have a country who pushes guns and can't seem to get rid of guns and love them, and the government supports it. And nowadays it's going to get worse because there are going to be more and more guns made, and then people are going to be getting guns to protect themselves, and this, that, and the third. It's a vicious cycle until there's going to be another civil war. That's what I see. That's going to be happening. But to call us that is very disingenuous, because what it does is it leaves out the complete picture. A lot of people like to throw weak statistics without giving the whole picture. Okay, and the whole picture is you have a disenfranchised group, and no group is more disenfranchised than the black man. So you're going to have these situations, and not only that, but like Sean said, if it was any other group, they would be doing the same thing. So don't hold your nose up. Another reason why they escaped England was to come here. Okay, though you could have called those white men thugs. Okay, but no, they came here and they started their own country. As a matter of fact, a lot of them was doing some thuggish stuff, especially to the Native Americans who were already here. I ain't gonna say no names, but we can.
Thuggish. They murdered 176 million natives were murdered at the conquest of 300 treaties were set, and they broke every single treaty at the establishment of this country. To your point, he said, give me liberty or give me death, right?
Right.
Like, give me freedom or give me death, right?
Right.
Now, these people were protractors. They detracted from England because they was like, we being heavily taxed, we being oppressed to some degree. They came over here, right? Freemasons. They established this over here through murder, through trickery, through lies, through bloodshed. They are the original gangsters. They are the original thugs. They are the criminals of the entire planet. They're the most murderous this earth has ever witnessed. The blood of the people who are innocent, who are the victims of these people, can't be tarnished but by fire. That's why this whole planet got to burn to some degree. 2/3 have to die because they can't be washed. Only thing that can wash blood is the purification of fire. That's why nuclear fire has to hit this place, and to no uncertain terms. Now, one rock will be standing on top of another rock. That's how flat this place gonna be at the end of it all, because they have committed that much heinous murder. She don't know half of a second of what she talking about. She is a bed wench, and she's supposed to say the things she's saying. Now, I don't know her personally, but I know what she's saying, and I know why she's saying it. She's getting paid to say it.
Right.
And it ain't for the benefit of her people. So if it ain't for her people's benefit, what's he talking about? What we doing?
She's a talking puppet. She's a black puppet, and they put her on their hand, and she just says everything that they're thinking, and that's what it is.
Let me address today's time, because clearly history will tell you who the most murderous group of individuals are, I guess, if you would say, right? What they look like.
Yeah, but we're not gonna say no names.
In today's time, Google the stats of police fatalities where they killed a person, whether wrongfully or not, from year 2019 to 2020, and from year 2020 to 2021. If you look at those stats clearly show that police have been killing people at an alarming rate. People, like I said, insurance bonds is cut when they kill anybody. America pays for violence. Listen. A cop could pull up on you and brutalize you right now, wrongfully, right? You could take him to court, right? Lawyers get paid, the judge get paid, right? You successfully win the case, right? Now, this police district has to pay this settlement to you, right? But they don't have that money, so the bank has to create a bond, or they have to, the insurance company has to create a bond with the bank that states, hey, we will get this money from somewhere. Most individuals, and I'm pretty positive she's not even thinking of this, is that it comes from taxpayer dollars. So when you talk about a black man killing another black man, you have to mention the fact that a cop, the people who are supposed to protect and serve, right? Protect and serve. Nothing to do with violence. Nothing to do with beating people up, brutalizing, nothing to do with. But these same individuals, to my knowledge or in my perspective, have basically been given a green light. Go ahead. You can do what it is you want. And during the height of a pandemic, this is what America decided. We are going to kill a black man, George Floyd. We're going to create a whole situation where we know they hashtag Black Lives Matter because they're really sensitive about black people getting killed. But, we're still going to hijack their peaceful protest. The only thing they had in this country, Martin Luther King, right? That's kind of what we look at. Because Malcolm X, right? They be like, oh, they so violent. Well, why won't you let us peacefully get our point across? It's like y'all don't want that. Not only that, but on top of that, y'all have paperwork. Like you said, the pen is mightier than the sword. You can shoot 100 bullets, but that's not gonna change the law. In fact, in this country, it was legal to kill us. It was legal to bounty hunt black people. So let's go to today's time. Who are the bounty hunters? Who gets that?
And he don't really care for us much either, so by the way.
Who is that?
Dog the bounty hunter.
I don't even know who that is, but you know what? At the end of the day,
he is black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little racist, little rock and roll looking dude with long hair, look like his face was chewed up.
His neck is real red. Yeah.
Only got like cancer or something right now.
I don't know.
Listen. So check this, man. Listen. We were listen, man. There's a whole bunch I could say on this topic, on all these topics. 76 million Native Americans were slaughtered, right? At the conquest of this place that we call America today, right?
How many black?
100 million black people died from the continent of Africa on the way to America. They didn't even make it here. 100 million.
How many Jews?
Died.
How many Jews?
What do you mean?
How many Jews? Was them black people killing them Jews? Had them in concentration camps?
What Jews? You talking about the Jewish?
Oh. The Jewish. Let's talk about it. But
okay.
So we just said three different groups of people who were slaughtered.
Yeah, they said it was about 4 to 6 million Jewish people in the gas chambers and stuff. And who knows? Like, right? Because people gonna argue about the amount of people who came over here and were slaughtered and died, and the sharks rerouted their whole route based off the bodies that were dumped in the ocean, right? And that's a fact even to this day, right? So they said the 76 million of Israelites that was died on the continent here, the Native Americans, the Hispanics and all that, right? They're gonna argue that, but they won't argue the Jewish Holocaust, the amount, the number. They won't argue that, even though technically based off census, it wasn't 6 million people over there to be slaughtered like that. That's a fact. Right. So, but we ain't gonna bring that up, right? So listen, we can pick and choose who we think we can get the win on. People go for who they think they can get the sure win on, and that's what we do. If your status in policy is weak and black, technically is a status. It is not a nation of people. It is just a status, a political status. It's your standing in policy and in politics and in your country. So it has nothing to do with your nation. White is a status. Black people can be white. You know what I'm saying? That's
right,
what
because
the elite
they
called,
can be black.
right?
They can even be, $5
Jay-Z is white. Oprah is white, right? And we say they acting white, but no, politically and how they move and how they're positioned in politics and law and in status, I'm talking about even beyond just their reputation. I'm talking about legally, you can change your status. We all need to be secured party credit.
When I seen it's funny you mentioned that. When I seen a article or something about African Americans, ADOS to be clear, getting reparations. I seen a lot of paler skinned people saying they will turn black to get a check. That's the one time they would turn black to get a check. They said, if y'all gonna get money, then I'm gonna claim black and get that money too. And it's just,
they already did that with the Indians. They called $5 Indians.
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. I mentioned that earlier. You've been dropping it on this episode, Black. You really have. But yeah, you're correct, man. That they have already done that with the Indians. But we got to wrap this up, y'all. Thanks for joining us. This Mike the Philosopher along with Black and Sean. Since the BMR covered it, now it's official. Hit the like, hit the share, subscribe, and we will see y'all on the next one. And put your comments in there and let us know what y'all think about this. Candace Owens. Peace.